Yeah. Hello, church. How are we feeling, man? What's going on? It's been a minute. It's been a second. So I hope you guys have been enjoying the youth service today. Happy birthday, Corey Day. We're gonna get to that, but I had to throw that in. 18, I can't believe it, man. He's big now. But so my dad, Pastor James, came to me and said I should do a sermon on future leaders and encourage the youth to be future leaders. And that was the foundation. I heard it, I took it, I went away. And I thought, how am I going to spend this? You know what I'm saying? Like, it can't just be some vanilla stuff. You got to spice it up. And the idea I came with is never overnight, as you can see now. Has anyone got an idea what angle I'm trying to take this? Like, let's just throw it out there. Let's talk. Yeah, what's going on?
Is it that like journeys or process or success? Like nothing happens overnight.
We're
It's all a
warm.
journey.
We're
I'm warm,
we're
not hot.
Anyone else? Anyone else? It's not Indomie. It's not Indomie. Okay. Well, yeah, you guys are right. To be honest, today we're gonna speak about. Well, firstly, let me pray, because it's not me speaking right now, and I pray that God takes control and that everything that comes out my mouth is for a reason or for a purpose and cuts through people's hearts and helps everyone in this room realize that it's never overnight, but it does happen in the dark. So today will be a reminder that the best time to start is now, and it's never too late to walk in God's time. It's a reminder to stay strong during the times that you feel you have nothing left, and to believe even when there's nothing to believe in. It's a reminder to stay disciplined and believe even when there's no one looking. It's a reminder that success never happens overnight, but the foundations are laid in the dark. Now, if you've heard me speak before, you know I like to start with definitions, because that's how it all begins, you know what I'm saying? So I found the definition of dark. That's one of the key words. And the definition was with little or no light. Now let's remember that, because I'm going to come back to it. I found it interesting how the definition of dark referred to the existence, or in this case, the lack of existence of light. And I was thinking how many times I felt like the light has been drained from everything I see and feel. I know I can relate to feeling hopeless and feeling like life will never get better. But despite everything I feel and see at the time, I go back to verses like John 8:12, which reads, when Jesus spoke again to the people, he said, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. And through reminding myself of such scriptures, I feel hope. Now let's go to the definition of overnight. And initially I was like, is this one word or two words? But apparently Google said it's one word, as you can see. And the definition is a stop or a stay lasting one night. Or in other terms, a singular event or instance. Now, I want to ask you guys a question. When you think of the term overnight success, I'm sure you've all heard of it or used it yourselves, but if I was to ask you for some overnight successes, can you think of anyone? I want you guys to really think about this. Have you got one? Take a minute. Yeah, so who? Can you name anyone? My year is different to your year. Okay. Anyone else? That was a good one. Anyone else? And I like the fact that she used Osh because he actually lives not far from us. And I know people that have worked with him and it wasn't overnight. He was grafting for years, you know? And that's the thing. When I really started to think about this term that we've also used and familiar with, I started to realize that there's never overnight success. There's always a backlog, a foundation that is laid. I started to think of David, the king of Israel. I started to think about how One may say one day he was a shepherd boy, the next time he's a giant slayer. Then I started to think about the countless nights he was tending his sheep, protecting them from the lions and the bears and the dangers that be. How can one call that overnight success? He was prepared. The foundation was there. It's never overnight, but it does happen in the dark. Now, for the younger people, this is meant to be youth service, right? I was thinking about the overnight successes, and who knows that chick, Addison Ray. Yeah, the TikToker. So basically, for the people that don't know, this woman, this American lady, has a round number of 84 million followers on TikTok. And if you don't know TikTok, then I don't know what to say to you. It's the thing your child is spending hours on. You should be watching that one. Now, like I said, I was thinking I don't indulge in those things. It's a waste of time. But I was thinking about it, and I was like, this woman was no one, and now she's going to events like the Met Gala, prestigious events. She's around people that one would think she has no business being around. And I was like, damn, this is weird. Like, how did it happen? Now I looked a bit deeper into it, and apparently she was a professional dancer. Now, if you don't know TikTok, they all love doing this shimmy, shimmy, this and that. Like, it's a bit strange. But what I started to think about is how she had that background, and the opportunity presented itself, and now she finds herself there. Is that overnight success? It's never overnight, but it happens in the dark. Now, we we live in 2021, a world where if you want this thing bad enough today, you can get it overnight, right? Amazon Express, is it Express? Thank you. Look, we live in a country where you can go to bed, sun's in the sky. You can wake up, torrential rain. However, with success, there is no shortcut or quick transition. Success is not an action, but an accumulation of actions that individually may seem insignificant, but together they define everything. You look at life a little bit different when you realize nothing is sudden and everything is predictable to a certain extent. Your destination in a few years is being written today, tomorrow, and the day after that. Now, I've got a little game for us to play. Game, class engagement. I need 10 people to stand up, please. 10 people, please. Let's not drag it out. 10 people. Let's play. It's Youth Sunday. Yeah, okay, yes. Clap for them. So Sepha, if... I appreciate you guys, man. Let's all stand in a line. Oh my days, that's Jeremy's little brother. Time's flying. Okay, wait, no, hold on. Yeah, it's enough people. It's enough people. Now, what I actually want you guys to do is stand in a straight line there. Yeah, so from you at the end, and then Valerie at the top. Yeah, straight line, like coming towards me. Look, you guys are connected. Yeah, you're all holding each other's shoulders. It's about facing me. Yeah. You're getting it. Val sees the head right now. Right? Val sees the head. Hold on to it. Okay. When Valsi moves, even the tiniest bit, you all have to move in proportion to where she's moving. You understand? Everyone understand? Perfect. Yeah. Look, we're restricted by space. But see from here, Valerie's already gone there. Uncle would have even been there. And you're seeing this going diagonal. See what happened from a small movement at the head. All of a sudden, the end is there. Understand, this is life. Thank you. Understand, this is life. You can see it. Nothing is an accident. Like, it's not a game. It's truly not a game. What, today feels insignificant, but I tell you that this is the way life works. Every second, every minute, every hour is a step towards a direction. That direction determines your starting point for tomorrow, which determines the starting point for the next. Your life is one big cause and effect that can only be truly understood in retrospect. You don't need to see the effect of today, but I promise you will feel it. Now I'll ask a question to you all. What are you doing today that they'll call you an overnight success for? What seeds are being planted? What will flourish in a few weeks, months, years, the next decade? For he satisfies the longing soul, and the hungry soul he fills with good things. Psalm 107, verse 9. Are you happy with just going along with life? Just doing what you're meant to do? Or are you hungry to be what you were born to be? Listen. Now I have a confession. I do have a confession. I do have a confession. And it's a peculiar confession for two reasons. Feel free to judge me, but I will stand strong in this confession. But know that I've moved past it and we'll get there. So my confession is that I used to fear death. Heavily. Heavily. I used to be young and excited and just have the mind of a kid and think, I'm gonna figure out a way to like make a metal heart that's gonna last 2 trillion years. Like I'm gonna beat the impossible. Like I'm not dying. And as I grew and got older, I started to break this understanding down and ask myself, why? Like, why are you so obsessed with not letting go of this? It's not that great earth, let's be real. Like, there's a lot more. And I realized the only reason I was in such fear of death is because I wasn't happy with what was happening today. There was no purpose. I wasn't doing what I was born to do. It was just a continual spinning hamster wheel, you know? And that's the thing. Once you really crack the purpose to your life, really understand what you're born to do, there is no attachment to this that we all see and feel. You do what you're meant to do, and you're free of it. We're all little like missions. Like imagine contracts, and everyone said, "Well, you guys, I can see everyone. You guys can't." But look around for a second. Imagine a little contract on everyone's head, which is their life mission, what they were made to do. Imagine not fulfilling your contract. Did Saul fulfill his contract, or was that reassigned to David? Are you going to fulfill your contract? Or is that going to get reassigned to the next man? It's not a game, man. It's never overnight. But it happens in the dark. Now, purpose doesn't always look like how we first may have seen it. Our perception of purpose can evolve and reinvent itself. And what I found is that the essence of our being is often embedded in things that we used to love when we were young, you know? There is purity and clarity in youth that the world does its best job of destroying. And retaining that childish curiosity of the world, is important. It's important to remind yourself of the things that you love, of the things that remind you that you are you. Let's be real, man. Let's break all the church politics. Jesus is gonna save us, this and that for a second. It's been a scary last couple of years, man. People dying around us, losing a member. It's not easy at all. And that's why it's so important to reconnect. There's nothing wrong with feeling like you've disconnected from the source, but there is something wrong in not taking that proaction to reconnect, to remind yourself what we're all doing here. We're only human. That's why we need him so much. And there's beauty in all of this. The beauty is that there is no time limit. There is no age cutoff. This is for the youth and the uncles and aunties and the grandmas and grandparents. However, this process I'm referring to takes time and patience and discipline. It can't be cheated. Time is the one thing that can't be cheated. It will always find you. A couple of years ago, I didn't have all of this. Time is coming for me. And it's crazy. I remember looking in the mirror like, what the heck is happening here? But it happens. Now, let me refer to some personal examples about this process of overnight and it happening in the dark. I love music. Music is what I wish to do in life. Music is my soul. That is what reminds me that, like, I'm me, you know? And it's weird because I was, like, we were born into a church that music was just everything, you know? Like, a massive foundation. And my first instrument I played was the French horn. At the time, well, I wanted to play the saxophone, you know, Lisa Simpson. Like, genuine. Like, I wanted, and then, because it was an orchestral kind of church, they were like, no, I guess the French horn is the most similar thing. And we just moved from there. But I started with the French horn, and a couple of years later, I had like one piano class, which, it was one, right? It was literally just one. And like, I took it upon myself to take it further than I played. I taught myself the guitar because my best friend at the time was the guitarist. And a couple of years later after that, I started the music society at Loughborough Uni. A year after that, I started making beats. A year after that, I started making my own music. If you don't know, beats is like instrumentals, all that good stuff, you know. A year after that, I started making my own music. Now this year, I've been songwriting with platinum artists. No, listen. I was gonna say the name, but you'll hear it when it's out, you know what I mean? But I say all of that to make you guys understand the journey. What's overnight there? From a child that's just in an environment that is music dense to being in a room with genuine platinum artists, like, they're thinking, what am I doing here? Like, everything I learned off YouTube or from people in the like, what? It's not overnight, but it happens in the dark. Now I keep on saying all this dark stuff. What I refer to when I say the dark is the lonely place, the quiet place, the place that no one sees but you and God. Listen, it's not even a game, man. Every night I see Valerie going into her cake shed place, studio, that's the word. I see her going into her cake studio. I hear the whisking. I see the lights. I see she's watching whatever podcast or YouTube or whatever, but she's making it happen every single night. She's not watching for anyone to see her do it because she knows she's the only one that's going to make it happen. Every night. No, I'm not going to say every night. Often. Because it's been a hard time. I can't lie to you guys. I've been going through it, man. But often, I do my own thing with the music, you know. I be in the studio, then I got work in the AM. I mean, the next morning, and like, you see this, man, I'm tired. I'm so tired, but I love this thing. And I heard a quote one time, it was like, die for what you love because everything's gonna kill you anyway. And when I heard that, I was like, yo, that one's a bit different. Like, die for what you love because everything's gonna kill you anyway. It's one of them like Romeo and Juliet kind of like. Anyway, that really changed my perspective, and it just my mind just started moving a bit different. You know, if I'm gonna die anyway, I might as well spend the time I've got doing what I love, being who I love, chasing something better and deeper and more. You know, from young I've had like a high need for achievement, not because I wanna be better than anyone else, but is that I think it's that fear of the death. It's like I don't want to go knowing that there was so much more I could be. You know, like it's really brought me to tears at points because like when no one even understands what I put into this music thing, man. Like I've I've cried over some trivial things just because I care so much, you know. And I encourage you all to find that thing, to be that person. Steve Jobs could have never made the iPhone unless he loved all that stuff. Believe that. Tiger Woods with the golf, Jeff Bezos with Amazon and the tech, Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook. They're great because they really do what they care about and they don't mind putting 20 hours a day into that thing. Live for what you love because you're going to die anyway, man. Trust me. Now I was thinking about a couple people that like would seemingly seem like overnight successes. For example, most of you guys probably know Stormzy, Big for Your Boots, Blinded by Your Grace, right? That's not where it all started, trust me. 5, 6 years ago, when I was still in school, this guy was driving around Croydon giving people free shoes if they downloaded his song. He was laying the foundation, like genuine. And now he's headlining Glastonbury, all these places where a young black boy from Croydon shouldn't really be doing that. But there he is. A guy called St. John, I don't know if you guys have heard him. Maybe you've heard of the song that he wrote called Brown Skin Girl. In 2017, I went to see this guy in a small venue in Camden. I'm not even joking, man. It wasn't even too much bigger than this. Like, not too much bigger than this. A couple years later, this guy is on a track with Beyonce and Wizkid. What? Come on. It's not overnight. Or what about Quincy Jones? One for the older guys. I know that music too, man. Don't get it twisted. Quincy is someone that like really interests me. You know, I watched a film called Ray. Great film. It's about Ray Charles' life. If you haven't watched it already, and Quincy has like a couple cameos in there. Now, the first point that they met was when Quincy Jones was like just what's someone that plays the trumpet, a trumpeter, I guess. He was just doing that, and Ray Charles was a bit further on in his career, and like it was just kind of a passing thing. They said, "Hey, this and that." The next time they met, Quincy was the Quincy Jones that we all know. You know what I mean? And I looked deeper into that relationship, and there are interviews of Quincy Jones, or of Ray Charles, sorry, saying how when I met Quincy, he was just this zealous child. You know, he loved the music. Like he was one of those really overexcitable people. You know, we all know those kind of people that just love what they do. And over that night period, he then turns into one of the most prestigious musicians that will probably ever live. Life is weird, man. Now I got one for the young people. What about Central C? Who knows Central C? The young people just moving quiet. Okay, you know, so just say. Now, for the older people that don't know, this guy is like he's the biggest um breakout artist of this year in terms of like the rap kind of music thing. And it's funny because someone that I work closely with in the music industry, that was Central C was his first client maybe 5 6 years ago, and the Central C those years ago is definitely not the guy that we know today. You know, there was refinement of his sound, refinement of his look, an understanding of the direction he wanted to take. And I'm just listing all these people to make us understand that it's all a process and that time that it took could have never been cheated. They got where they got because they started when they started. And that's all I'm essentially telling you guys today. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's start. Man, God is good. God is real good. We live in a weird world though. And I can understand that like this world makes it hard sometimes, you know. Oftentimes I'll be 20 minutes, half an hour into my music, then I might check Instagram and I see this other person on the other side of the world doing something way bigger than me. And I'm thinking, what am I doing? Insignificant me just there. It's a world where quantity is, is loved more than quality. It's a world where things move fast and you're encouraged to post rather than thinking about what you're posting and what you're saying. But I'm here to tell you that quality still matters. I'm here to tell you that instead of following the world, take the time to actualize the greatness that you're envisioning. Social media says content is king. I say it isn't. Would you rather live a long life full of nothing or a couple years full of impact? Now, in 2019, I lost a friend and she was 21 and it really hurt. She just graduated. Um, Life was moving. You know, I met her through like a guy that was like my brother. So if your brother's bringing his girlfriend, that's my sister now. You know what I'm saying? That was it was a real close bond, and they were planning their life together, all of that stuff. Like it was like a whole nice thing. They were saying, "Oh, you should come live." Like life was really starting, you know. And then she just dies, and you know, I feel like we feel this is like a. I mean, it's rare, but same way, that's life. People are here, and then they go. I could be gone tomorrow. Realistically, you could be gone tomorrow. Realistically, if you go, are you happy with what you left? But for real though, are you happy with what you left? Guys, let's start living with purpose, with direction, with the understanding that this thing one day does end. And we don't know if we're going to be grey when it happens. No, I've said a lot of doom and gloomy kind of stuff, man, but let's talk about some practical implementation in navigating the dark place, the place where we're lacking direction and we don't quite know which way to go. And these are going to be maybe some tips from the Bible, some practical tips from my journey so far. But I feel like if we all embody them and learn from them, we can all live a happier life. So the first one, my first tip on navigating the dark is staying around like-minded people that inspire you. You know, we've gone through a period of time where we've been isolated, we've not been around many people, and I feel like that's really like It's harder to engage when you've been so far removed for a while, you know? But I'm here to remind you guys that community is important. And more so people that are thinking in ways you want to think, are aligned with your soul and your purpose, you know? All that platinum artist, this and that thing is only because of a good brother of mine that saw what I was doing and believed in me. That could have never happened. Even initially, I was his client. Imagine paying someone for you to do something and then they're saying, no, come, I'm going to take you somewhere else. When I say it in retrospect, when I see it, it's crazy, but that only happens from pursuing what you want for yourself and being around those that are doing the same. Now, point number 2, know where you are and where you want to go. See that little game we played? It all moves simpler when you know the direction you're shooting for. You know? There is so much one can gain from having a clear goal in mind. Whether that is annually, weekly, monthly, it's important to steer a direction. Point number 3, protect your vision/dreams. Now this is a biblical one. Shout out to our good friend Joseph. Going back to the story of Joseph, of course he was the second to last youngest brother. A very happy, zealous guy. He just he loved people, he loved to talk, but sometimes wisdom is required. It's not everyone that should hear everything that's going on in your mind. He overshared and that led him to be sent to Egypt. Protect the infant thoughts that are going on in your mind. Protect the ideas that aren't quite fully formed, because the reality is not everyone will see your vision. Don't let them kill your vision before it's even had a chance to flourish. Point number 4 kinda is similar to that. Exercise discernment. You know? And it's so interesting because I was looking into Joseph. This is coloured coat Joseph, of course, not the other one. I was looking into his story and I was like, is this guy smart or silly? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Because, like I said, with his brothers, we can all exercise emotional intelligence and know when to say and when to not say things. But then, similarly, it was that same overzealousness in talking that led to him speaking about his ability to depict the dreams, and which then got him into Potiphar's house. Exercise discernment. Know when to pull and when to push. Know when to speak and when to keep quiet. And I feel like ultimately I concluded Joseph um, learned from his mistakes. Definitely. And my final point, and the point I will conclude on, is leave God's work to God. You know, we're so obsessed with knowing the next 10 steps. Sometimes God wants us to take the first one, then he will let the second one light up. Then we take the second one, and the third one lights up. Sometimes we don't need to know everything that's going on. Conclusively, I want to say that I acknowledge where we are is rarely where we want to be, but it's better than where we were. When you commit to the journey of stepping into purpose. Often the answers will not present themselves, but discovery is simply staying lost long enough to find in what you're looking for. Some will call it the 10,000-hour rule. Others may call it the grind, but I call it the process. There is a process to greatness, a process that the sooner you start, the sooner you can be a contributor and be the individual God made you to be. Be a film director, an actress, a politician, a dancer, a chef, a teacher. All of those are future leaders. You don't have to be in the lights with the shiny people to be a leader. I pray that we will all step into purpose today and can die in peace, knowing the mission we were sent to this earth to fulfill was completed. Thank you very much.
I can listen to you all day. All day. Unlike some that just come on the pulpit and just talk rubbish. Your boldness, the control of words, the engagement of the audience, the in and out of your young life testimony and that of others, your charisma, your swagger, the way you apply words. Listen, these are things that cannot be taught. These are things that are inbuilt. Plus, your stubbornness. Let me tell you something. You see, I use the word stubborn and people just laugh. My own definition of being stubborn is somebody that knows what they want to do without allowing others to change what they want to do. That is my own definition of being stubborn. And you are. Your kindness and your emotions to want to see others succeed, and when they don't, your emotions comes out as not being happy. I know. Kneel down. There's only one prayer I want to pray into your life. And what the Spirit has asked me to throw into your life is that the platforms that the Lord God Almighty has already prepared for you. I'm not saying you're going to become a pastor. No. I'm saying that the platforms that the Lord God Almighty himself had already prepared for you around the world. Your boldness and your stubbornness will take you there. In the name of Jesus. That's it.